Inside the prisons they never want you to see. Content note: this documentary explores conditions in detention facilities, including brief mentions of isolation and restricted freedoms, presented with respect and factual restraint. Cinematic hook: behind concrete walls 30 feet high, in places with no name on any public map, people disappear into systems designed to be invisible. Visual: slow aerial drone pullback from unmarked facility in remote landscape, barbed wire catching golden hour light. What happens when a prison exists specifically because someone decided you should never know it's there? Governments operate detention facilities that function outside normal legal frameworks, hidden from media access, independent inspection, and sometimes even from official records. These aren't the prisons you see on tours or in documentaries. They're classified military sites, offshore detention centers, psychiatric wards used for political prisoners, and black sites where people are held without charges, lawyers, or contact with the outside world. Visual: world map with documented hidden facility locations appearing as red dots. This matters now because transparency in criminal justice is a cornerstone of human rights. When facilities operate in complete secrecy, the risk of abuse multiplies. Over the past 2 decades, investigative journalists, human rights organizations, and whistleblowers have exposed dozens of these hidden prisons across 6 continents. What they've found challenges everything we assume about accountability and rule of law. Timeline of key events. The modern era of secret detention facilities became visible after September 11, 2001, when the United States began operating what became known as black sites in foreign countries. Lower third, 2001 to 2006, CIA Black Site Program. The CIA transported prisoners to Thailand, Poland, Romania, and other nations where interrogation techniques banned in the U.S. could be applied. Source: Senate Intelligence Committee Report, 2014. Detainees were held for months or years without charges. Many were later found to have no connection to terrorism. In 2002, the U.S. opened a detention facility at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, specifically chosen because it existed in legal limbo outside American soil and Cuban jurisdiction. Visual: satellite imagery of Camp Delta compound. Over 700 men would eventually be held there, most without trial for over a decade. Source: Department of Defense records, declassified 2016. The facility still operates today with 30 prisoners remaining. Source: Pentagon Briefing, January 2025. China's Xinjiang region became the site of what researchers call the largest mass detention system since World War II. Between 2017 and 2019, an estimated 1.8 million Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities were detained in over 380 facilities. Source: Australian Strategic Policy Institute Satellite Analysis, 2020. Beijing initially denied the camps existed, then later described them as voluntary vocational training centers. Visual: before and after satellite images showing rapid construction of large compounds. Leaked documents in 2019 revealed internal directives describing the facilities as tools for breaking their lineage, breaking their roots, breaking their connections, and breaking their origins. Document: Xinjiang Papers, New York Times, 2019. North Korea operates a network of political prison camps that have existed for over 60 years. An estimated 80,000 to 120,000 prisoners are currently held in 6 known Kwanlee-so camps. Source: Committee for Human Rights in North Korea, 2023. These camps appear clearly on satellite imagery but remain sealed from all outside contact. Visual: annotated satellite imagery with camp boundaries marked. Former guards and escapees have provided detailed testimony about forced labor, public executions, and multi-generational imprisonment of entire families. Source: UN Commission of Inquiry, 2014. Russia operates a network of secret detention facilities in occupied territories and within its borders. Independent journalists documented filtration camps in Ukraine where civilians from occupied regions are interrogated, with some transferred to undisclosed locations in Russia. Source: Human Rights Watch Investigation, 2023. Inside Russia, political prisoners are sometimes moved between facilities without notification to families or lawyers, effectively disappearing into the system for months. Alexei Navalny was moved 19 times in his final 2 years. Source: Navalny's legal team statements, 2023 to 2024. Syria's security apparatus has operated a torture prison system throughout its civil war. A defector codenamed Caesar smuggled out 53,000 photographs documenting deaths in custody at multiple facilities. Footage. Congressional testimony. 2014. Forensic analysts confirmed the images showed systematic starvation and abuse. Source: Human Rights Data Analysis Group, 2015. An estimated 100,000 people have been disappeared into these facilities since 2011, with most families receiving no information about their relatives' whereabouts. Source: Syrian Network for Human Rights, 2024. Evidence and verification. The evidence for these hidden facilities comes from multiple verification methods. Satellite imagery provides the strongest proof because it's impossible to falsify and can be independently analyzed. Commercial satellite companies like Planet Labs and Maxar capture daily images that researchers cross-reference with refugee testimony and architectural patterns. Source: Multiple investigations by Amnesty International, 2018 to 2024. When someone describes a rectangular compound with 12 buildings in a specific arrangement, and satellites show exactly that structure appearing over 6 months, the corroboration is powerful. Closure would endanger operations or personnel. Some detention is characterized as temporary wartime necessity rather than permanent prison systems. China expert lens/why it matters. Legal scholars point to a fundamental principle: justice dies in darkness. The entire architecture of modern human rights law is built on transparency, the idea that oversight prevents abuse. Secret courts, secret evidence, and secret prisons remove every check on power. Think of it like this. If your money disappeared from your bank account and the bank said, "Trust us, it's for security reasons, we can't tell you why," you demand answers. Rights work the same way. When systems operate entirely in secret, there's no way to distinguish between necessary security and unlimited power. Psychologists who study authoritarian systems describe detention networks as tools of social control that work partly through visibility and partly through invisibility. Everyone knows the prisons exist. The uncertainty about who goes there and why creates a chilling effect on dissent. It's a paradox. Secret facilities that everyone knows about but can't prove. The fear spreads wider than the actual detention ever could. Historians warn that emergency powers have a pattern of becoming permanent. The Guantanamo facility was supposed to be temporary. It's been operating for 23 years. China's vocational training was supposedly completed years ago, but the facilities still stand with security infrastructure intact. Once you build a system designed to operate without oversight, dismantling it requires admitting what happened there. That's a powerful incentive to just keep it running. The prisons they never want you to see exist precisely because sunlight is the strongest disinfectant. As long as facilities can operate in complete darkness, the pattern will continue. The question isn't whether abuses happen, documentation proves they do, but whether transparency will ever reach places designed to be unreachable. If you want to understand how these systems function from the inside, watch our next documentary. The Defectors Who Mapped North Korea's Prison Camps from Memory. It shows how human testimony and satellite imagery combined to reveal what was supposed to stay hidden forever. Source notes and disclaimer. This documentary draws from declassified government documents, United Nations investigation reports, satellite imagery analysis by independent research organizations, and verified testimony from former detainees and facility personnel. Information about active facilities is necessarily incomplete due to access restrictions. Conditions described reflect documented evidence as of January 2025. Ongoing investigations may reveal additional information. We've made every effort to distinguish between confirmed facts, alleged events pending verification, and speculation. All governments mentioned were contacted for comment and responses are reflected where provided.